Yes, folks, I'm back in studio. You're listening to Louis B. Free Radio Show, Brain Food from the Heartland. Returning to the show, I have, and I'm honored to have Katie Nolan from In Defense of Animals. Katie, welcome back.
Hi, thank you. So great to be back.
It's wonderful. And may I say what we were just talking about, that you're a rabbit person?
Yeah,
I see your
absolutely.
kitties. I didn't know you had rabbits.
Yeah, two rabbits, two beautiful girls.
What are the names?
Their names are Harley and Leona.
Oh, Harley and Leona. Love that. And I'll get pictures at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Going on an animal. We were talking earlier for listeners, and listeners get a little bit freaked out with me, Katie, because especially with the technology doing, even back in the olden days when you Skype, still use Skype, I guess, and now Zoom. And if somebody has a pet, an animal, or something in the room, I'm immediately distracted and talking about it, and listeners are emailing or whatever. It's like, I can't see that cat.
Yeah.
I can't stop talking to the cat, stop talking to the dog, talk to us, talk to the audience. It's like, you know, and again, one of the very few advantages of being old is like, well, I'm an old man, and people are very forgiving. It's like, okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. So a little bit about you, your background, and In Defense of Animals, and then we'll get into the topic today.
Yeah, definitely. So I am the general campaigner at In Defense of Animals. I cover our wild animals issues, our farmed animals issues, and our animal companions issues. So very wide range of things. I help a little bit with some captive animals as well. I've always loved animals since I was a little kid. Grew up with animals.
Thank you for not saying when you were young, since you were young.
Yeah.
That's what old guys like.
When I was younger.
Oh, I'm young. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Always had pets, animal companions, always was outside, exposed to wildlife and seeing wild animals, and that love never left me. So here I am now, working for the animals.
That's as difficult as and I can't imagine. I've done a lot of rescue work over years, but not obviously not to the level that you do. And as difficult, as gut wrenching, as painful as so much of it must be, because you've got to obviously learn there's a problem before you can fix it. It's, how do I want to say, it's got to be very satisfying for you, knowing the good work that you do, that this is your job, your passion. Am I making any?
Yeah, definitely.
What's that like for
It's
you?
hard work. It
Oh,
is really disheartening, and there are so many issues that are when you look at them, you see all of the issues piled on top of each other, and you think, how can I ever fix any of this? But when you have those little victories, they make everything else worth it, and they make you able to push through and continue fighting.
and if not you, you right? I mean, everybody wants someone else to
Yeah.
fix it. They want to have someone to call. Like, we'll call In Defense of Animals. We'll call, the humane agent. We'll call which is great, which is important things to do. Yet it's got to be.
That is one of the toughest parts. It's something I didn't even think about when I started working here, was that, and I'm relatively new. I've been an animal lover my whole life, but I'm relatively new to the position and to working professionally in the animal rights world, and to have people calling you every day and hoping desperately that you have the answer and you have the solution. And a lot of the times we don't. We're just people too, and animal lovers too, trying to figure this out and trying to help. And that can be really difficult to not always have the answer.
And you can't be immediate change. Some have to be legislative, etc. Some have to, you do petitions a lot within defense of animals to help, and it's not an immediate process. There's
Yeah.
another case in the area where they took, I can't even remember how many animals, I'm thinking like 40 maybe, from deplorable position. And, there's legalities as far as taking them. And then they were able to come up with a deal for her. She's able to keep the dog that she's had for a long time. Not sure how that all worked out. Can't have any other animals, surrendered the other ones. But it's just, and I can see how some people, I'm not justifying or excusing it, uh, start to, not this particular situation, but you start to take, you've got too many, because you decide not to say no. Or if I don't take them, where will they go? There's so many. You and I were talking about rabbits, so many, and dogs and cats also. So many shelters are full that they have to turn people away. Well, where do they go? What do they do? Do they dump them? Do they?
Yeah, exactly. It's hard. It's hard to know how much space you have for
Yeah.
animals and what quality of life they're going to have depending on your space and how many animals you have.
So I do understand the path towards hoarding animals. I'm not excusing it, certainly. You've got to be able to feed them. You've got the vet bills. It's like, again, back to the rabbits. People don't understand they're not cats or dogs. They're prey animals. They're different. Everything is different.
Exactly.
And, and you end up, and you're feeding them properly with proper veg, etc. It can be, especially if you've got a lot of them, it can be costly. Like I say, the vet bills, etc. So people have to be prepared. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and they don't tell you that when you see them at the
of course not.
The hardware store or the
hardware store.
Yeah. And I will admit, I'll come completely clean. My very first rabbit, I went into the hardware store to get paper towels, and I came out the parent of a small baby rabbit. And I learned very quickly that rabbits, they're not as easy to care for as they want you to think in the store. $20 and you can take this rabbit home. And I realized I should spay or neuter this rabbit. And rabbits are social animals, and they're prey animals, and they need a lot of space, and they should live indoors. And luckily, because and not to say that other people taking rabbits home from stores aren't going to be good rabbit parents, but luckily I was very on top of coming up to speed, and my rabbit, I think, has a very happy life now. But especially around this time, I know we were talking about Easter and the extra level of promotion to buy rabbits during the holidays, and people don't realize the long-term commitment that you're getting into when you take a rabbit home.
And we are going to be talking about the deer in Mill Creek Park, folks.
Yes.
The other aspect, one of the other aspects are, like you say, they don't educate people with what it is, because their objective is to sell them, obviously, and move the merchandise, if you will. They don't, such things as hay, and again, now with the internet, I understand there's a lot more information available than there was when we first started taking in rabbits. They don't tell you about chewing. They don't tell you how you have cords. Just they'll chew. They're going to.
Just yesterday, I pulled on a pair of pants, and this giant hole just right in the front of it. It's like, that's what I get for leaving my clothes out.
That's right. That's what my wife was. Well, she said, had you not left the T-shirt on the floor, then or the books. I've got books, and they're precious to me. Some of the ones where they're chewed, they're just, they're precious. One of the shirts I have, a T-shirt, it's got little holes in the back. I still wear it. It's precious to me. It's precious to me. Some of the cords that went, fortunately, the cords that went were not electric. They were charging, like cell phone charging cords. One bite. Yeah. And the other thing about rabbits, it's appropriate being close to Easter, is that, they litter box train. Yes, and our rabbits were really good with urinating in the litter box. they are also defecating machines. And it's not like, again, the difference, it's if you're feeding them properly, it's not like cats or dogs. It doesn't have that aroma, trying to be as like a cat or dog's defecation. And would freak people out. Friends would be over and there would be a few of the little balls.
Yeah.
I pick them up with my hand. Oh, I said, smell it. I'm not smelling that. There's no aroma to it. And then you push it between your fingers and it's powder. It's
Yeah.
fiber. But the thought of that they're always going, maybe yours do, but
Oh yeah.
I've never had a rabbit that has 100% defecated in the litter box.
No, we have our other girl, she poops territorially, so they're
Yes, yeah,
in the bedroom, the living room, the
yeah,
couch, all of it.
and that freaks some people. Or they'll put the rabbit out and say, "Well, I see rabbits outside." And my regular listeners know where I'm going to go with this. It's like I see children outside, so you wouldn't say, "Well," some people might. Well, I can't handle it or I can't afford it anymore. I'm just going to put it out because I see kids out in the street. Or we're getting a rabbit to teach our child responsibility. No, you're the parent. It's your job to teach your child responsibility. Or why don't you have another baby? Then why don't you've got a 3-year-old, have another baby and let your 3-year-old take care of the baby. Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
This is obviously. Let's talk about what's going on with the proposed slaughter of the deer in Mill Creek Park.
Yeah, definitely. So,
sorry about that.
no, I think it's definitely on topic. Good to talk about right before Easter. So Mill Creek Park, they recently conducted a survey to assess the deer population in the park. And they came back and said there's 19 times more deer than the carrying capacity for deer in the park. So there's 19 times more deer than there should be, allegedly. Local activists and residents in the area are contesting this number. They say this is not accurate. It's not what they've been observing, living in and around the area full time, walking in the park every day. So the solution that the park board has proposed is essentially to kill the deer. And solution is in air quotes because I don't think that killing other beings is a great solution to a problem that is ultimately human created. So something that In Defense of Animals definitely sees all too often is that the park and the Ohio Wildlife Division plan to partner with USDA's APHIS, their division called Wildlife Services. So essentially, these are professional animal killers, which sounds really horrible. I'm sure they do other things too. Yeah, but they're known for being hired to kill what they consider nuisance or problematic wildlife. So there will be hired sharpshooters that will set up in the park, and they will kill deer with high-powered rifles. And then outside of the more metro areas in more rural areas of the county, they will open a new deer hunting program. And that is what they've decided to do to reduce the supposedly too large deer population.
That's their go-to solutions for things after the fact. There's not planning. Where's the planning been? That's our part. I find it abhorrent, not just because of my feeling of animals and my lifestyle, diet, whatever, how I live my life. It's just the idea of that in what I used to call Mill Creek Paradise. And again, people in this area know it's a beautiful park. I frequent the park. I love seeing the deer, by the way, but I love being in the park, and it's great because you don't have to travel to it. It's great to be able to travel to a park, but I can be on my way home and I can be 3 minutes from the one of the main streets and be in the park. It's wonderful. This idea of having this slaughter on our turf, it just freaks me out. We take their popular, we take their land away. You know, I saw a good, what would you young people call it? A meme, I think.
Yeah.
I used to call memes before somebody, it was in, what's a meme? What's a GIF? What's a, yeah. And it was something about the bears. Why? Well, we took away their habitat. Of course, they're coming into the city. You know, what do we expect when we do what we do with no planning? And where's the planning been?
Yeah, exactly.
Just happen. Go ahead, Katie.
No, just that we should be exhausting all solutions before resorting to
Slaughter.
taking away lives. And I think that's what I'm getting from you saying the planning aspect. There has been no discussion of what alternative methods we could even attempt to pursue. On the park's website, they list that the only alternative is fertility control, and it's not an approved method or permitted by the Wildlife Division of Ohio, so they're not going to pursue it whatsoever. What they don't consider are a plethora of other options like habitat modification, minor landscape changes that can deter deer, hazing, implementing other sorts of scare tactics that prevent deer from being in the area, all those sort of things. They don't even mention them.
And which is, again, and that aspect also of dealing with it now. And I understand we're here now if we believe what their numbers are, which is in question with a lot of people also, like you were saying earlier, Katie Nolan from In Defense of Animals. Yet these things don't happen overnight. It's not like all of a sudden X amount of thousands of deer moved into the park yesterday or last week from who knows where. And these are something, and where are the people that are being paid? Where's government? Where's the park board? Where are they? All of a sudden this, and I don't want to get into some of my maybe out there theories as to why in the hunting aspect and I'll use air quotes, no one's going to see sport, if you call it that, or these slaughters. It's just, it's horrific. Obviously, it's something I'm very passionate about, but there's going to be a meeting today.
Yeah, so a meeting for activists who are interested in joining the fight to save the deer. There's a new coalition that's formed. So they're meeting at 5 p.m. tonight at the Newport branch of the Youngstown Library. So the address of that is 3730 Market Street. And they're going to...
I'm sorry, for local people, they should probably know where that library is. I'm Midlothian.
Yeah, definitely. So 5 p.m. meeting in the library. They're going to discuss root causes of damage to the park, not the deer, the real root causes of damage to the park, strategizing next steps, talking about where volunteers could be useful and where local people could jump in to help.
So that's going to be, and I've got that posted up also. Again, it is today at 5 p.m. today, 5 to 7:30 at the Newport branch of the library. And you'll see, I'm always wearing an I love my library t-shirt on, my tie-dye one today. But again, people should come out. Please come out. Please get involved with this and find out and learn, regardless of how you may feel. Maybe you think I can't imagine anyone that thinks it's a good idea. You want to hear some alternatives. You want to learn more. You want to get involved. So you can be there tonight at the library, at the Newport branch at Market at Midlothian Boulevard at 5 p.m. How did you get involved with In Defense of Animals?
Yeah, well, we received a call from a local activist, two different calls, a woman named Elizabeth Brown, but someone else who actually said that he knows you and to say hello, Chuck Johnson. Yep.
Chuck's a good dude.
Yeah. So Yeah, no, he did. He said to say hello. He spoke very highly of you. Um,
Good guy.
yeah, but they both reached out to us and asked for our help and our support and our backing, which we were more than happy to give. So we are standing by to provide whatever support that the group needs to help save the deer.
And get that word out, because people, it's sort of like with In Defense of Animals, Idea USA, or I got all those links up for In Defense of Animals. One of the things that I see a lot and signing petitions, this isn't a, yes, it happens to be on our turf, this one here, but there's so many of things that are happening elsewhere that I wouldn't know about if it wasn't for In Defense of Animals, petitions that I can sign, etc. Some of the horrific things that you read about and the great successes that you all have. If you didn't get that word out, people wouldn't know. I wouldn't know about, oh God, I even hate to, it's about what some abuses that go on elsewhere in California,
Mm-hmm.
wherever, that need to be prosecuted, properly prosecuted, I should say. And it's because of people signing petitions and urging and making phone calls, et cetera, that these things get done, because certain people and certain governments realize that they can't hide this, sweep it under the rug, or be influenced by
Yeah.
something. I'm trying to watch my words. I don't want to get, oh, it's a terrible expression. I don't want to get Louis on you. My issues are my issues. This is separate from In Defense of Animals. But what I love about you being involved is it helps get that word out beyond this area about what's happening.
Absolutely. And a huge part of that is thanks to activists that reach out to us. That's what we're here for, is to help elevate these causes. And I, living on the East Coast, would have had no idea about this issue if these activists hadn't reached out to us and asked for our support. So definitely want to give a lot of credit to them as well.
Yeah, somebody's got to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how these things happen. I got to ask you, if you don't mind, are you optimistic that now that this is becoming, the public is more aware of it, and your involvement with In Defense of Animals, that there may be a greater opportunity to prevent this slaughter?
Yeah, I think in this case in particular, I'm optimistic. The group working on this, they are very organized, they're very together, and they have a clear strategy that they're pursuing. They're discussing potential legal action. I think those are all really great, effective ways um, to save these deer. I do fear there are a lot of cases we deal with Wildlife Services, the USDA division, um, where once the town has signed the contract already, it's they either can't back out or they won't back out and usually move forward anyway. But I am hopeful with this group that there will be a positive outcome.
And people will need to be, regardless of the outcome, held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
People and state people will need to be held accountable for their actions.
And
Go ahead.
what we know about population booms like this is that killing deer or geese or coyotes, it's not going to solve the root problem. If deer are continuing to populate and continuing to grow, then this is going to be a recurring issue. If we believe the numbers, if we believe there are that many deer, then who's to say the deer will not repopulate and this issue will not come up again and they'll do the same thing. So even if we are not successful this time, it will open the door for conversations and discussions about alternative methods that should be and could be and hopefully will be pursued before resorting to lethal methods.
Certainly in this day and age, there's, it's interesting when you say certain things aren't approved, yet this is an approved, and it makes me wonder sometimes of connections with
Yes, of course.
Again, I should do this on my own commentary, not while you're on, but again, me saying I've got to wonder
Mhm.
and say conspiratorial, whatever, paranoid, whatever. Yeah, I am all of those things and much more. Yet you wonder why. How could that possibly be? Why wouldn't you look for the least lethal or the
Yeah.
most humane way
And
of dealing
just
with this?
yeah, just to say, wildlife services is not cheap. When towns hire them, sign these contracts, and a lot of the times the money does come from taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
that
certainly
money is,
so the park does. So
yeah,
coming from the taxpayer, what else can people do? Obviously, they can show up tonight,
yeah.
5 o'clock at the Newport branch of the library. What else? What else do you
Yeah.
recommend?
I'll parrot that. Show up to the meeting. If you're local, speak up and stay on top of what's going on and participate. You can sign up for our newsletter and stay engaged with what's going on. We'll be updating on this issue and other issues across the country, a lot of which have to do with wildlife services, killing wild animals in different communities. We do a lot of those types of alerts, so you can sign our petitions. And I think there will be a lot of opportunities for involvement going forward, especially if you do want hands-on engagement, volunteering. If there are upcoming board meetings, we'll be sending out messages about those for people to participate and give testimony and speak at them.
And again, local officials and that need to be held accountable
Definitely.
regarding this. Local officials that need to be held accountable. Again, it may be a stretch, as I've said many times in the show. In my circle, I'm the king of the bad analogy.
Mm.
So I don't think all my analogies are bad, or I wouldn't use them. But when you think about some of the things with bank failures, well, where were they when they had an obligation to watch over some of these things, and where were they with with certain government organizations watching over certain Bitcoin things and stocks? And you've got to wonder why does it have to get to a breaking point when supposedly there are things in place to watch out and be, that we have weather forecasters for a reason, to look down and see what's coming down the road or what's developing, et cetera, to warn people, alert people, keep people informed. Where were they in this regard? Now, I understand we can't go back, but we can certainly have those questions for them as to why it got to this with little or no alert, et cetera, and make certain that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So people need to be held accountable in a peaceful, legal way.
Definitely.
Caveat that. I don't want anybody to misinterpret.
Yeah, of course.
Katie, Nolan, I'm delighted that In Defense of Animals is involved, and of course, a local organization, and the meeting tonight at 5 p.m. at the Newport branch of the Public Library of Youngstown, Mahoney County on Market Street at Midlothian. You will be updating. I know you've got a lot of social media with In Defense of Animals. Do they just go to idausa.org and sign up for the newsletter, or what do you recommend?
Yeah, I'd recommend signing up for our newsletter. If you sign up, you will also get individual letters that come directly from me. I will be sending updates to the community members and new opportunities going forward to be involved in this situation as it continues and grows and as we learn more.
This situation and many others, and you'll be grateful for In Defense of Animals because of what you will learn. And hiding from these or not wanting to look isn't the solution. I understand how horrific it is to look at some videos, but you need to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that the concentration camps in Nazi Germany were outside of cities, not in the middle of them. There was a reason it's a reason that slaughterhouses are out of the way from most people and don't have glass walls, if you will.
Mhm.
There's reasons that some of these things happen, and they need to be exposed. And In Defense of Animals does such a wonderful job. You all do such a wonderful job. And getting to meet you recently and getting to know you with an organization that I've known for quite a number of years and a number of people has been wonderful, Katie Nolan. So sign up, show up at the meeting tonight, and share this information with your friends. Let people know, post it on your social media sites, call your friends, let them know, encourage them, pick them up, be there tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for promoting this message and this meeting.
Thank
and
you.
having me on here.
And as often, anything, anytime for animals, seriously, anytime. I'm welcome. And you'll do updates with me, hopefully again soon.
Absolutely. And I'm going to send you some photos of my adorable rabbits
Right,
later.
I was going to say, should I say it again? The bunnies, and I'll share some back with you of some of the ones that we've had. I want to say hi to Jack at the shop around the corner also. So thank you so much, Katie. And your kittens, the cats' names, by the way, I don't, for listeners, two beautiful cats. I can see one of them now.
Yeah, Andy, that's Andy you can see. And then Derek's on the other side of me. We adopted them. They're 11 or 12 years old now. And they had those names. They're named after Yankees players, Andy Pettitte and Derek Jeter. And my family were very big Red Sox fans, but we couldn't come up with new names. And so they have been Andy and Derek their whole lives.
And many in my audience are thinking, it's a good thing you identified them as baseball players because Louis wouldn't know. It's not a sports. Derek Jeter, I think that name I know. Who is the other?
Yeah, he's
Andy
Pettitte.
Okay, that one.
They're both retired now, so it's.
Are you a big sports fan?
No, not really. I only know that because of the cat's names. So.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. They are adorable cats. Can't wait to see the rabbits. And thank you for all you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you.
We'll do it again soon. Thank you.
Definitely.
So folks, again, please don't forget those pictures. Again, tonight at 5 p.m. It's 5 p.m. at the Newport